Hello and welcome to the Global Reviews webinar on current accounts and personal loans. I'm Rebecca Jennings, Principal Client Advisor here at Global Reviews, and it's my role today to talk you through some of our latest research on current accounts and loans in the UK and the type of information, the type of insight that our clients can extract from the research that we conduct. As I say, I'm Rebecca Jennings. I'm Principal Client Advisor here at Global Reviews. So what I'm going to do for you today is talk you through the methodology of the studies that we conduct on a regular basis in the UK, Europe and Australia. And I'm going to talk you through some of the top-line data and some of the insight that we're extracting from that research. So thank you very much for dialing in today. As I say, we're going to talk about current accounts and loans. Now, we here at Global Reviews conduct this research across a wide variety of financial services products. Current accounts and personal loans are just two of them. We also conduct this across mortgages, savings, life insurance, home insurance, whole range of insurance products as well. So that's within financial services. We also conduct research across a wide variety of other industries such as energy, sports betting, retail. So there's a lot of application for what we're doing here, and there's a lot of experience here in terms of not just looking at this industry but a wide variety of other industries in terms of measuring, understanding and helping you execute on what are the key problems that your consumers will experience when they try to find brands and find products in your market and then go through and try and actually find a product that suits their needs from you and then apply or buy it. We at Global Reviews have been working within this sphere for some 15, 16 years, as I say, across UK, Ireland, Australia and Europe, and across a wide variety of industries. Now, we're very much focused on helping you optimize your conversion and understand why you're losing customers at each point of that journey I was just describing, that journey from why, what do I want? Do I want a mortgage? What do I want a loan? What products are out there in the market for me? What brands can offer this product? Through to considering particular brands. Why would I look at Nationwide? Why would I look at RBS? Why would I look at Barclays? Coming to the home pages and landing pages of those websites and saying, well, again, do I trust this brand? Does it look interesting for me? Going further into that research, what kind of actual rates can you offer me? What kind of loans have you got? What kind of current accounts? Then through to, well, why am I actually transacting with you particularly? Okay, I found 2 or 3 brands that look really interesting. Why am I choosing you particularly? And through the ACT phase. What we're very much focused on is tracking consumers through that journey and figuring out why you are losing consumers. Where are you leaking consumers out of that funnel? Why did they go to your homepage and then not go any further and go to a competitor instead? Why didn't they even click on your search results when they looked in the discover phase? Why did they drop out when they got to the application form? Who did they go with instead at that point? What were the points at which they decided, no, I'm not interested in you anymore? Really, that's very much what Fruition, our conversion optimization program that we are now running and will be running through 2017 across all the products and industries that we deal with. That is very much what this end-to-end program is about, helping you plug those gaps and obviously identifying why you're losing them, but what you can do about it. As I say, this is very much also about not just giving you the data for understanding where you're losing consumers, but trying to understand why and helping you see the best practice in the market. And it might be in another market completely. It might not be in your market. It might be in, it might be in sports betting. It might be in energy, for example. So looking at not only your own market and saying, well, okay, we want to be the best of our market, but we want to be the best out there, full stop. What is the best way of comparing products, for example? And then also we will also look at the post-purchase experience, so native app, member services, so the post-login, post-membership services that you provide to consumers, and again, how do you interact with consumers? Where are you losing consumers, if you like, in that journey? What we're going to talk about today is that sort of first half of first sort of 3/4 here of fruition, that conversion optimization program. How do users find brands? How do they make decisions on brands? And then going through the actual journey they have on the websites. And again, where are the pain points and why are you losing consumers? Now, fruition itself takes into account those steps you've just seen. It's a little more depth. What are we actually doing? We're recruiting in-market consumers in their own environment, in their own homes, using their own technology. We run this across desktops and mobiles. So there'll be qualified consumers as being in the market to take out this product or buy this product or invest in this product in the next 3 months. So they're in the market, they're thinking about this product. They're in their own homes, to say, on their own technology, but we do download a little applet to their browser which enables us to track everything they do. So we can see where they go, what search terms they use, where they click, how long it takes them to do things. So they then go off and explore their options for this product on the web, but we can passively monitor what they do while they're doing that. So we can see exactly where they go. Do they go to comparison sites, for example? What brands do they go to? They then, after that research, create a short list of brands that would be on their sort of final shorter list to spend more time researching, and then they select a final preference. So at this point, having done this research, why would you choose Barclays? Why would you choose RBS? But also, why didn't you choose the other brands in that market? Of that short list, why didn't you choose the brands you rejected? So it's really identifying those reasons for lost opportunity originally really back here at shortlist and preference stage. They then move on to actually going through the engagement on a brand site. So they move to a website they're not a customer of. We ask them to undertake some tasks. So it could be finding products, finding particular rates, going through the application form. At each stage, there is say measured actions, what they're doing, so we can passively measure how long it takes, which pages they go to, what navigation fools them, where do they go, are they confused by something. We measure their propensity to abandon after each task and what they would do in real life if that had happened. So would they pick up the phone, would they try live chat, would they just abandon it completely because it was just too annoying. Alongside all of that consumer insight, there is layered a best practice features and function audit, which is a 400 criteria review of this entire journey from discover through consider to act. There's a yes/no questions, as I say, a specific 400 set that are written particularly for this particular industry, particular product. So for loans, for current accounts, there'll be a specific 400 criteria. And as I say, they are yes, no, does the site have, does the page have, does it have phone numbers, does the phone numbers have opening hours, do the product pages have FAQ, are the FAQ contextual to the product? So there's a whole range across, say, all the discover, consider, act phases. So ultimately what we've got here, or what fruition looks at, is the consumer perspective on looking for brands, finding brands, shortlisting, selecting, going through the actual search on the website, going through the act phase of application, and that's layered with this best practice features and functions audit conducted by global reviews experts. So what you've got all the way across this journey is both the consumer attitudes, insights, actions, what they've done, what they'd liked, what they didn't like, and the best practice, what the consumers actually saw, but say from what the best practice is from a best practice critical review point of view, pardon. So you've got both sides of it. You've got what the best practice should be, and you've got what the consumers are thinking and feeling and seeing as well, all the way across the journey. So as I say, the moving parts here are really that best practice features functions audit, around 400 criteria. They are weighted, because not every single of those is as important as every other, and they are renewed on a yearly basis. We have clickstreams, we have heat maps, We have, as I say, search terms. We know exactly what consumers do, so we can start identifying pathway pains, call to action issues. We know exactly how long it takes them, a number of clicks to do things. So again, how long does it take? So it could be the case that actually a lot of them manage to do something, but it takes a very long time and they're not very happy about it. So just looking at success isn't very helpful. What we actually need to know is how long it took, how many pages they went to, and in a real life situation, what would they actually have done? Would they have just given up because it was too annoying? And again, consumers audit specific pages within the journey to provide a benchmark. This is, as I say, a benchmark. So what we're doing when we do this is we look at a range of competitors in the market, the top brands in any market. So you'll see as we go through, we look at around 10 brands in current accounts and in loans. And again, across all the financial services products that we look at, there's about 10 brands in the benchmark. So you see not only how you do, but you also see how all the other brands in the market do too, and you can identify where you're doing well and where you're doing poorly and where other people are doing better. So let's have a look at some of the data and some of the insight we've got out of the current account and loans research that's been going on in the last couple of months. What have we learnt about those looking for current accounts and loans in the UK market? Most of us, in fact, most of us across most things we buy, quite frankly, start on a search engine. However, we then move from that search engine through obviously doing searches to a brand website. Interestingly, this does differ by product range. With current accounts, 43% move to a brand and 36% go straight to an aggregator. Loans, 36% actually move to a brand and 55% go to an aggregator. So you can see immediately the kind of slightly different paths already we're going from that first page. So you've got more than half actually going off to aggregators with the loans, obviously showing the power of that strategy. Current accounts is a little different. A third are still using aggregators, but they're still powerful in the market, but still the brands and the homepage, the landing page is really important for those first impressions. Most of us have an initial preference before researching. Most of our users who are looking for current accounts or loans came in going, well, I think I know who I'd probably go for. But then obviously they do some research. And interestingly, we have a lot of movement in these markets, and we'll see that in a moment. A lot of movement here once people go in and actually do research and they go to those aggregators and they do that search. Probably around half of the consumers in each of these markets change their mind. So it's not the case that even if people come in thinking they'll prefer a competitor of yours, it's certainly possible to change people's minds. And what changes people's minds? Well, we'll see a little bit more detail about that in a moment. But overall, reputation, very important in terms of choosing a brand with a current account. 44% of people said that was one of their key influences in terms of picking a final brand. Loans, it's about the rates. Good rates for me is actually the most picked influence on final decision in terms of loans. And that's interesting, not only because it means obviously there's a lot of rate competition going on in this market, and obviously you can see that by the use of the aggregators. People are looking to see what's the cheapest rate for them. But also it means it's really, really important very quickly in the loans journey on your website to promote the rates, but also to promote realistic rates that consumers will actually get. So not just headlines, this is our lowest rate possible, but actually for you specifically, let's quickly get you into an idea of what your loan rate would be. What's the actual realistic rate for me, and not just your headline rate. So immediately you start to see some of the things coming through that will be important when people make decisions. So where do they actually go as a result of that search? 90 plus something of us, people in this market, start at search. Where are they actually going as a result of that? Well, you can see this is for current accounts, and the money supermarket piece at the bottom is for loans. So 25% of people at this point for a current account ended up at Barclays. Obviously, in the process of their searching, Barclays have come up. The search results says it's interesting and it attracts them to go to the site. Closely followed by a bunch of other competitors here. You've got Santander, Lloyds, Nationwide, and NatWest, all getting more, or at least a fifth of users, attracting a fifth of users to actually come to the website. So search methodologies or search messaging doing its job here for those brands. And a fifth going directly to Money Supermarket, not even going via the brands at this point, going straight into the aggregator. Again, stronger influence in the loans, 32% of consumers immediately from that first search going into Money Supermarket, going into that aggregator. So immediately thinking, actually what I need to do is see these things side by side. So quarter of consumers going to around a quarter of consumers going to each of these bigger brands in the current accounts markets. They've done a search, the big well-known banks, high street banks have come up, and they've gone off to investigate what those brands have gone off to their websites. However, what happens then is interesting. Visits are actually in no way indicative of what people are actually going to finally choose. So this is for current accounts. Who did consumers actually choose as their final preference at that end of this beginning of the discover phase? So they've gone through the discovery phase, they've created a short list, they've created a preference. At this point, they haven't done a lot of research. This is the beginning of that fruition journey. They've done some searching, looked at the comparison sites, visited a few sites. So this is a lot influenced, as I was just saying a minute ago, by the early impressions they're having of the site. The landing pages, the home pages, the messaging on the search. Is the messaging on the search reflected by the site? When I click on a message, do I get that message reflected on the landing page, the rate I was expecting, the promotion I was expecting? Those kind of things coming in here. We've just seen 25% of consumers went to Barclays. Barclays are nowhere to be seen in terms of final preference of current account provider here, which is really interesting. 33% of our consumers chose Santander, who were more popular in terms of visit. 16% chose Nationwide, and then we've got 11%, 9% NatWest, Halifax, TSB. So quite spread. After that first half, we've got sort of 49% spread between Santander and Nationwide. So considerable percent of the market going to those two brands, but then broken down, more fragmented. But as I say, you've got some very visited brands, Barclays, Lloyds, not doing very well here at all. So obviously doing a good job in terms of getting themselves out there in terms of brands you might consider getting out to the SEO, getting out on the PPC, getting out on the results, but actually when people come to going to the sites and coming away and saying, well, actually, they didn't have anything that suited my needs, I didn't think it was interesting, I couldn't figure out what actually I would take from them. Some of this is going to be about comparisons, not understanding what the benefits are, and we'll see that in a minute. But really, big change here in terms of how brands are convincing consumers quickly that they have something that suits their needs. And we can see some of this here in loans as well, because as I was saying at the beginning, we have most people go in with a preference, but actually most people, or at least half of consumers in both markets here, change their minds. So an exactly same thing here happening in loans, actually more so in loans in fact than current accounts as well. People are fickle, is possibly the word, I don't know, but people are very prepared to change their minds. So here we've got some of the movement for the bigger brands from initial preference to final preference on loans. And you can see some quite dramatic drops here for these big brands. So you've got Lloyds, for example, is the biggest drop. You've got Lloyds going from a 14% initial preference. So 14% of consumers at the beginning said, well, actually, I think if I've got a loan, I'll go with Lloyds. That's my initial thinking. By the end, only 4% were choosing them. Similarly, big drops, 8% for both Halifax, HSBC, 7% for Barclays. Very small movement for Nationwide. Nationwide actually do relatively well, but big drops here for some of those other big brands. It is not the case that consumers come in with a brand and just do the research to reinforce that. They're actually changing their minds. What happens here in loans is Sainsbury's actually, in the latest research we did, Sainsbury's actually got the highest final preference. 20% of consumers actually picked Sainsbury's to provide them with a loan. So it's really interesting because Sainsbury's actually appear nowhere on the initial preferences. People don't spontaneously think of Sainsbury's as a loan provider, but actually when they go and do the research and they go to the comparison sites and they do the searching and then they go and do a quick look at the site, does it have something that suits my needs? Is it reflecting what I'm seeing on the comparison sites? it's doing very well. It's getting itself onto their shortlist, and it's convincing a fifth of consumers at this point that it's the right choice for them. And why? What are the key drivers here? Reputation plays a big role in financial services, full stop. You will always find, whenever we ask this about loans, current accounts, but then mortgages, savings, say insurance, all sorts of financial services products, you will find that trust and reputation are very strong. You will find here, as you might suspect, as we saw earlier, they are slightly less of an influence on loans than they are for current accounts. Current accounts, they are the two biggest influences, slightly less important for loans. Best offer for my needs, best accounts for my needs are strong influences for both, though, particularly for current accounts. Deals offers my needs and accounts and my needs coming out very strongly after the idea about reputation and trust, but also very strong for loans. Current customer, strong for loans as well, often because you get preferential rates. But again, this is influencing, this is showing that consumers are very influenced at this point by understanding what you've got that suits their needs specifically. This is back to that point where I was saying that it is about the rates, but it's about understanding quickly and easily that you have something that will be suitable for me specifically. Be that a great loan rate, it might be in the current account situation, a current account that perhaps pays interest or whatever it is that actually suits my needs specifically. And again, what's interesting here, this comes up even when you're looking at brands that have very few current accounts to choose from. So it's not a case that they've got 9 current accounts and you've got to figure out which one fits your needs. Even if you only have 1 or 2 accounts, you've still got to convince consumers that that is the one that suits their needs, and it's not just a case of you're trying to shoehorn everybody into one box and it doesn't suit anybody. You've still got to say, actually, we only have 1 or maybe 2 accounts, but they are suitable for your needs because X, Y, Z. It's not just this is the account. It will suit your needs specifically because it has all these great features. These are 2 different things. And I think sometimes if you are offering a small range of products, it's harder to get to that. It's harder to convince consumers perhaps that one of these really suits your needs because there are fewer filters you can add, there are fewer options, but it's still absolutely important, even if you're offering a limited range of products, that you think about needs-based communication and not this is the product, this is the baked beans aisle, pick one. No, this is what you actually need from a current account, and we can tick all those boxes, everything you're getting from the other providers, even if they might have multiple offerings. On the flip side, of course, we think about why users don't pick brands. As I say, this is very much what Fruition is thinking about. It's not just let's watch what they're doing and see where they're going. It's about, well, why are they dropping out here? Why didn't they put you on the shortlist? Why didn't they choose you if they did put you on the shortlist? Why didn't they choose you as a brand? So this particularly obviously does vary quite a lot between brands or between industries. So we're looking specifically here at current accounts. So other providers provided better value is the key here. 29% they went for the value. 18% said the brand I preferred is more of a brand for someone like me. And again, this is where we're getting into this needs idea. The idea that actually I do need to know that it's value. I need to know that it's not going to cost me a lot of money. I need to know the rates are good. But actually I also need to understand it suits me and my needs specifically. So this is a bigger element, not just about the features and functions of the product. I want to try someone else. Yeah, and when we get that, to say we've seen people come in with thinking that they'll go with a brand that they are a customer of and they change their minds. I then obviously 16%, I didn't feel had enough information. The website just didn't give me what I needed to make a choice. So the website, certainly at this stage, which is a fairly quick dive into the home pages and landing pages and product pages, they didn't feel there's enough information, so the brands are not providing consumers with the data that they need in order to make this decision. So why do they choose brands? Why do they reject brands? let's have a look at why they choose some brands specifically, because obviously this is a benchmark. Looking at the industry overall is interesting, but obviously what's really interesting is when we get into the brands themselves and say, well, why are consumers choosing this brand over this brand? What are they doing that other brands aren't doing? So this is at loans. So this is really interesting because this is the one where we have Sainsbury's come in essentially from nowhere, from no unprompted preference at all to actually getting 20% of the market at the end. And we can start to see why people chose the brand they chose. So 43% say they chose Sainsbury's because they have the best interest rates. Now these are multiple choice questions, so obviously they don't add up to 100. So 43%, I have best interest rates. But also you've got 33% that are saying best accounts offer for my needs. So it isn't just about low rate. I need to understand it actually suits my needs as well. Nationwide, interesting one. Nationwide coming in at 12%. Big swing here for used them before, current customer, I trust this company. Nationwide doing well in this market because of who they are, their current product base, managing to transition current customers perhaps to other products. Obviously still have the best interest rates in there, but actually a lot of that is not so much about the website and any sort of great communication journey they're doing on the website. It's actually mostly about the establishment of the current brand, which is interesting. And obviously good in terms of customer loyalty, brand awareness, brand trust. But it does mean that they are vulnerable. If they suddenly do go through a spate of not having the best interest rates, they're very reliant on that that name and that existing customer base, and that's only going to take you so far. So that's kind of an interesting one where they're doing well at the moment, but actually it's not necessarily product based. Other side, you've got Tesco's. Tesco's going in here well as well. Again, coming slightly out of nowhere here, not really getting any initial preferences as a spontaneous brand awareness, but by the end, getting 10% of the market. Trust and reputation, people know the brand, best interest rates. Interesting here, easy to understand. So what we're getting out here, certainly for perhaps you might think the interlopers, the Sainsbury's and the Tesco's here, who are together often taking nearly a third of the market. It is about the best interest rates, but it's also about making sure consumers know they've got the best accounts for their needs specifically. So it's not just throwing low rates at them, it's making sure consumers understand they can get those rates and why it's good for them particularly. But also there you've got starting to come in, options are easy to understand. People don't want to spend a lot of time on this, it's not fun. They really want to get in, see what you've got, get out again, make a decision, make an application, get it done. So options are easy to understand, and this is the kind of thing where these brands are doing well. They're getting consumers quickly into the site and communicating their value. But also you've got Nationwide in there, as I say, still doing well in terms of trust current customers. So interesting two types of brand really going on here. Obviously, so what we've looked at so far is the sort of beginning of this journey going into the home pages and landing pages, and you can start to really see how they drive some of the decisions consumers are making. So let's have a little look at some of those sites. So remember this, that we just looked at this drop in final preference for loans, and we really saw that those big brands, other than Nationwide, are suffering, getting big drops 8–10% from initial to final preference. If we then look at some of the audit side of this, we can start to see why that might be. First impressions really count. If we look at the audit for meets expectations and builds trust, so this is looking at the home pages, the landing pages of these products, do they immediately grab consumers and make them think, yes, I trust this brand, I want to transact with this brand, I think you're going to have something that suits my needs, I'm going to go further and do some more research. If we look at that side of things, you can see Nationwide scores the highest on 67 in our benchmark, and then you've got Tesco Bank and Sainsbury's, who we've just seen are the three top brands in our final preference. They score the best by some margin above other brands in terms of first impressions, expectations and trust. Consumers being drawn in and thinking, yep, they will have something that suits my needs. Other brands are not doing a good job they are losing consumers immediately from the home page, where people might go to Barclays. We saw people are visiting Barclays site, but actually they're getting a really low score in terms of expectations and trust. They're going to be losing, and a lot of people immediately they go to the home pages and landing pages and you actually know this doesn't look interesting, it's not meeting my needs, it doesn't build up to the promise of the SEO and the PPC, whereas Nationwide, TESCO and Sainsbury's getting those higher scores. So what do we actually mean by meet expectations and build trust? Well, it's things like it is promoting the rates, it is needs-based language you could benefit from. Why choose Nationwide specifically for personal loans? Not just Nationwide in general, we're a building society, it's very specific for loans, so low range for main account customers, but also low rates for all. Simple, instant online decision, minutes to complete, so emphasizing it's quick, it's easy, we were just talking about that. Instant online decision, consumers can get it done. Loyalty price promise will beat loan provider offers. So a lot of emphasis on why you would go with us specifically. It's simple, it's easy, it's quick. Calculators very clicked here, are very clearly linked here, as well as call to action, so I can go in, I can again figure out what you've got that suits my needs specifically. It's not just about that low loan rate, it's about easily being able to figure out you've got something that suits my needs specifically. And you've also got contextually relevant support, so that little fly out that appears on the loans pages, loans FAQ, send us a message, and click into more information. So it's not perfect, the page isn't scoring 100% as we saw earlier, but it is ticking a lot of little boxes and making consumers think, okay, I trust this brand, it's got good rates, it's going to have a rate that suits my needs, I can quickly go into the loan calculator, figure that out, there's a clear call to action, instant online decision, ticking a lot of these boxes that makes me think, okay, I can do this here. Hitachi Personal Finance actually scores very well in terms of expectations and trust as well. They obviously benefit from the limited product range that they offer. They aren't having to worry about mortgages or lots of other savings, etc. They're very much focused on the loan side of things. But you can just again see here, it provides all the information. It's a great starting point for your product and for application. You've got the loan calculator integration to the home page. You've got call to action buttons on the home page, key products displayed with a summary. So very clear here where consumers will go. You've got information about the rates. You've got the calculator. Again, I can start to understand whether you've got a product that suits my needs directly from the home page. And Nationwide actually do well at that next step as well in terms of helping consumers find fees and charges. So we're going a little bit further into the research now. In the fruition research, we actually, as we saw earlier, asked consumers to do specific tasks, one of which is find application fee for a particular loan. And as you can see, Nationwide, 81% of people managed to find that. And that is much higher than the lowest we have, which is 32%. You can see there are some brands in the market that make it really hard for consumers to find those important fees and charges. Again, this isn't perfect, it's a little bit small print, but it is there, and it is clearly linked from rates to details into the rates page. So it shows the rates ranges and it shows the fees. So these are the kind of, again, little thing tick boxes that make consumers come away going, yeah, this really looks as if it's going to be something that suits my needs, I'm going to be able to afford this. On the flip side, 75% of Santander users had a problem when they were finding this. As I said earlier, it isn't just about whether they can find it, it's about the problems they have on the way. So we had 75% of Santander users say, look, it was a problem. I probably wouldn't have carried on if I'd done this in real life. So they couldn't find fees, clicked all the tabs, full details. So you've got here, you can see you've got at a glance, full details, managing your account, terms and conditions, where are the rates, where are the fees, where's the application fee, where's the early payment fee. It's quite difficult to find, a lot of small print, no obvious place to find it, and people were resorting to searching for loans, searching for fees. So very dissatisfied in terms of the journey here. So some brands really not doing this particularly well in terms of helping consumers find fees. Of course, that's the, if you like, sort of only the first half of the journey, if you like. We've really only done a bit of the discover and into the consider phase here. If we remember our journey at the beginning, discover, consider, and act. Fruition looks at the entire journey. Fruition looks at how users find those brands, what they can think about those brands, why they choose the brands they choose, but then looks at the entire journey that consumers have on the brand websites, from those home pages, landing pages, finding products, finding rates, through the application. So this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at this overall score that we get for that entire journey. So loans, we've got Nationwide coming out as if you like, best journey, scoring 53%. Current accounts, you've got Santander coming out as the best journey overall through the application, 60%. Not particularly high scores, and we do have markets where we're getting scores of nearly up to 70%. Sports betting, for example, is one that does better. A couple of the home insurance, car insurance, I believe, does sort of high 60s. So we, particularly loans, low scoring set of results, and that is because these brands do struggle a lot of the time at this really important piece about why does this suit my needs specifically. What's obviously interesting about the score is not that overall score we just saw. I mean, it's interesting. It's that you can benchmark against your competitors. We track it over time so you can see how you change. But obviously what's most interesting is what makes that up. What are the individual elements at each step across the journey, from initial engagement to, say, first coming to the website, through finding products, does it suit my needs, why am I choosing you, why am I doing online, is it safe, secure, private, through the application form. What is my score at each of those steps? What is my competitor's score at each of those steps? And what can I do about it? Where am I not doing well? Where am I losing consumers and why? And what can I do about that? We often see that industries have pain points, brands themselves will have pain points, but we often see that industries have pain points too. And you can see that very clearly here. Evaluating options is actually a low point for this particular industry in terms of, this is specifically the current accounts. So this is where you've got generally low scores for all the brands, and this is the element where this is about helping consumers be convinced that this is a product that suits their needs specifically. It's not just, this is a list of products. Introducing options is more about, can I find the product? Okay, this is your list of products. Evaluating options is, well, does it suit my needs specifically? What is it about it that makes me buy or apply for an account with you and not any of the other brands in the market? Because you all look the same. So how can I choose between the options? What is best for me? Do I understand the terms used? So you've got, say, for example, Barclays here. So I've got the two types of bank account. We saw earlier Barclays getting a significant amount of visits, but actually very low final preference for current accounts. Why is that? Well, actually, it's quite difficult to see the differences here. They've got ticks and elements about the account, but actually they're not comparisons. It's just a list of things. It's not a list of comparative features side by side. It's just a list of features, and some of them are very generic. So open online, okay, well that's general to most of these sort of most of the current accounts. Overdraft options available, again, pretty much every current account will have that. So it's not features, it's not comparable, it's just a list of essentially not very interesting things about those accounts. So actually consumers are coming away going, well, I don't know which of those is better for me. I don't know which suits my needs. I don't know the functions or features about it. I can't compare them in terms of actually interesting things side by side. Similarly, then when you look at the other example here, you've got Bank of Scotland. Again, a couple of types of accounts, difficult to compare, not side by side. Again, not interesting features here. You've got mobile text alerts. Again, none of this is really getting to what suits my needs specifically as a consumer. How can I compare these? Can I look at them easily side by side and figure out whether they're actually the one for me? So losing consumers at this point because you're not really telling them that your product suits their needs specifically. Compare that with Nationwide and Halifax here, where you've actually got what is more specifically or more obviously a comparison. So Halifax actually helping consumers directly compare. You've got a page entitled Compare Bank Accounts. It's very clear what it's intending to do. Again, it's not perfect, but it does now lay out the features and functions and charges much more explicitly. So what's the overdraft, what's the features, the fees, very explicitly what those features are, and can compare them side by side. And similarly with Nationwide, you actually got a needs-based filter. They've obviously got more accounts, so you've actually got a filter here, but you can look at everything. You can look at youth accounts, you can look at accounts that pay interest. You can start again to say, well, actually these things are interesting to me, this is what's most useful for me, and this is what isn't. And then when you actually look at comparison, you've got the nice icons that are matching across down the page. So World Family Travel Insurance will always have that icon, so it's easy to scan and say, well, actually this card has it, this card doesn't. So you're getting much easier for consumers to actually compare and come away thinking they've got a product that suits their needs. And also what we're thinking about here is this help and support. So TSB, again, current account, very good job of supporting users in terms of relevant FAQ. FAQ on pages are contextually relevant to that page and to that product. They're not general FAQ. People aren't going to have to dig around in general help to find support. Contextual help on page. Security reassurance, why choose us. Lots, again, little drip feed of value, you might say, sort of drip feed across the journey that says these are the benefits, this is why it's good, easily solve any questions you've got, just get on and do it. Again, this isn't a fun thing, people aren't enjoying this, just want to get it done and over and done with, but be assured that they're making the right decision. You've got the de facto here, independent financial research. Consumers do understand generally what de facto is. They understand that it means that it's been independently rated. So, and it's also one of the things that if you don't show it and competitors do, the initial assumption is that you don't have it. Okay, so they've got the 5 stars, you're not showing it, therefore you don't have 5 stars. You sort of damaged by omission, if you like. And then you actually get the next stage. You've got Santander and TESCO, again, effectively setting expectations. I want to do this now, I want to do it quickly, I want to get it done, it's not fun, just want to get it finished and then go and have a cup of coffee and do something more interesting. So set expectations. How long is this going to take? Do I have enough time to do it now? Yes, no, I might have to wait till I get home. Do I have to wait till the baby's in bed, whatever. What do I have to have to hand? What information do I have to go and find something from my partner? Do I have to know his bank account, his date of birth? Tell me up front how long it's going to take, what I'm going to need, and what's going to happen now. Is it going to be an instant decision? Do I get it now? Do I have to wait 3 days? Do I have to sign a piece of paper when it arrives? Tell me, set my expectations, rather than getting me halfway through an application saying, oh, now you need this, at which point consumers go, oh, well, I don't have that, I can't finish it, this is annoying, I'm going away and I'm not coming back. So all of these little elements are breaks in the funnel. They're leaks in the funnel from discover, from messaging not matching the SEO, through to the home page is not building trust and telling people that the site will have something that suits their needs, through evaluating those needs, helping users compare easily, quickly, getting people into the application, holding their hand, saying it's going to be quick, it's going to be easy, it's going to be safe, it's secure, it's going to take 5 minutes, instant decision. All of those are leaks in the funnel that brands are losing consumers, all of those. But there are ways, in many cases, to plug those and to increase the amount of consumers, the volume of consumers that go all the way through the funnel to application, and ultimately increase conversion rates, because that's what this is all about. It's about improving your journey, but not just make it pretty, it's improving it to actually improve conversions at the end. So some of the things that come out, I think, immediately from the research that we've been doing, obviously there's a huge amount of data in these studies, 400 criteria from the best practice audit alone. There's actually about 550 criteria altogether. So we've just scratched the surface here of the insight that we've got across these journeys. But immediately we can start to see it's about using landing pages to emphasize that trustworthiness, ease of interaction, competitive rates for my specific needs. Even on those landing pages, I've got to start being confident that you'll have something that actually suits my needs and you're not just throwing low rates at me. Help me understand the differences, needs-based language, comparison, filtering. Even if you've only got a very limited product range, it's really important that you help consumers understand that those products suit their needs. We saw that Barclays example and how much of consumers they're losing through that funnel. People just aren't looking at that and coming away going, yeah, that suits my needs. They're coming away going, no, I don't understand it. It doesn't suit my needs. I'm going somewhere else. Encourage completion by making sure users know up front what they need, how long it's going to take, and keep this consistent basket all the way through the form. It sounds silly, it sounds simple, but you would never buy something from Amazon or from Gap or from Fatface or any other retailer without having a persistent basket all the way through saying this is what you're buying. And it's the same in financial services. Tell consumers all the way through the application, the loan, the current account, the savings product, whatever it is, tell them what it is they're applying for all the way through to the end, all the way through that final application. So, thank you very much for your time. I hope it was interesting 45 minutes. As I say, this is only a very high-level industry overview of what we've got within this market and, say, multiple other financial services markets. As a client, obviously you get full access to all of that data, tailored access to the data at a much more micro level, tailored analysis. But also you don't just get the data, you get the workshops, much more expanded versions of what I've been doing here in terms of what's the industry doing, what are your competitors doing, recommendations for plugging those funnel at each point. What is it going to mean if we can improve this based on customer insight, but also based on best practice, and best practice not just in your market, in a range of markets, might be other financial services, but also other retail industries, energy, telecoms, all the industries that we cover, and also additional advisory hours, looking at wireframes, etc. That's all the kind of things that we can help you with. So, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, do reach out to us at Global Reviews. I'm rebecca.jennings@globalreviews.com. Very welcome for a copy of the presentation, copy of the seminar. Very welcome to email us with any questions you have about the research and about the product and about the insight and how we can help you. So thank you very much for your time and have a good day. Thank you very much.